What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LifeWarrior Podcast. Y'all know here what we talk about is LifeWarrior stories. And those stories can be anything from depression, PTSD, can be financial problems, all those stories we've had on here. Today, something different. True LifeWarrior stories going on in a small place, small town in West Texas, where I have family from, and this is involving them as well. This is about the government shutdown and how it is affecting a small community in West Texas, Big Spring, in a federal prison, FCI Big Spring. And this is Shiloh Salazar, who's been awesome to come on here and tell a little bit about her involvement in this and really what this looks like. Because people don't, when they hear government shutdown on the TV and they see the news stories and all that, I don't think they really grasp the concept of how serious it really is. And so, because of my involvement with my family and being there and hearing it and seeing the things on Facebook and things like that, I kind of got an idea. And so Shiloh's going to kind of tell us a little bit about what's happening out there. If y'all don't know, Big Spring is like an hour from Midland. It's out there in West Texas, just a small community. And there are quite a few families involved in this thing in just one small place. And so y'all keep that in mind that, again, there is this thing happening all over the country in federal organizations and things all over the country. So she'll tell you a little bit about how many families we got going and things like that, and just put that into perspective of, okay, this is just this small place. How many thousands are there that are struggling right now because of this? So Shiloh, thanks for coming on. Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what's going on out there.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm an advocate, but more importantly, I'm a mom. And so with the last 3 government shutdowns that I've had in my adult life since I've been 18, I have helped try to organize food and supply drives every time. So I come from a federal prison worker who is retired a little bit ago, but it's still once a union kid, always a union kid. So I'm always going to be there trying to help out. And when this shutdown happened, I mean, the day that it happened, I reached out to the federal prison union and said, all right, let's go. Like, where are we going to put supplies at this time? You know,
what day officially was this? It was sometime was it late September?
It was October 1st
Okay.
Yes. We knew a little bit before, about 2 weeks before, that this was probably going to happen. We had a little bit of a heads up, but we kind of all held out hope like we all do.
Right.
We are now on day 34, 33 of going into it. So if we hit 35 days, we are tied for the longest shutdown in history, which is absolutely insane already. It's not about left, it's not about right, it's about all of us that are actually being affected and the communities that are having to struggle to uphold our workers that are being affected. And with the economy already kind of hit or miss for families of all spectrums, we're all struggling, but now we're trying to become that community of holding each other up and making sure that these workers have food on the table, have gas to get back to work. Because what people don't understand is, though Congress, the House of Representatives, has been in recess session or a work session for 5 weeks now, going into week 6 on Monday, our federal workers are showing up every day, having to go behind the bars, keep prisoners fed, doing their jobs every day. And the saddest part that a lot of representatives and people in general don't understand is that federal workers, specifically with the federal prison system, has a 7% higher chance of suicide on a normal basis, and not including these shutdowns. So we've already missed 2 full paychecks. We're looking at missing a 3rd one, which is unfortunate, to say the least. And so I'm trying to do my part as a community worker. We have 200 employees here in Big Spring. Of 22,000 is our population of our town. So kind of take that in consideration when you start thinking about bigger towns that have more federal workers that are being furloughed, and how many in those communities are actually being affected and how massive scale this turns into. We're trying to do our part, keep people fed. We're trying to deliver toilet paper and laundry detergent and the little things that you don't think of.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy. But just life, and this is what these are, people ask me, well, what does Life Warrior mean? And I'm like, well, every day when you wake up, there's a war going on of some kind in your life. You got to pay bills, you got to do whatever it is. And that is actual life. You got to warrior through life every day. And in this situation, it's like, wow, I mean,
what do you do?
true war going on, not, and it's a war of people trying to survive, feed your kids. Like I just, that blows my mind is that I was trying to tell this to people the other day, like, imagine being forced, like, hey, we're not going to pay you, just so you know. You're not getting paid, but hey, you still got to go to work. Because if you don't,
Mm-hmm.
probably going to lose your job. There's pensions involved. There's all kinds of things. And so what are you going to do? And for people who've been in the job, like I was in the fire service 22 years, if you're 15 years in, what are you going to do? I mean,
Exactly.
you are absolutely stuck, and you're forced to go to the illusion of freedom. Sometimes in the country boggles my mind, because
Exactly.
that is as far from freedom as you could possibly get.
It is.
So,
The worst part about it is that when the government shutdown, when it ends, whenever it does end, these workers don't get paid automatically. When the 35-day shutdown happened, it took until that next March to actually get people paid. And so we've got families who have missed 2 full paychecks, which means they're behind on their bills. We're next to Thanksgiving, we're next to Christmas, so these families aren't able to start planning out for Christmas. If you are like myself, who has 2 babies, and they are in December and January babies. So we're
yeah.
also trying to plan birthdays. It's a lot harder of a war than people really imagine. The last big hit that these federal employees are fixing to take is when they do get paid, it's typically in one big lump sum, which means that they get those 2 big paychecks in one big one. But now their tax bracket has moved up for that paycheck. So instead of their 10-12% tax, now they're getting a 30, 35, 33% tax. And so either way, these government employees are kind of getting beat around the bush.
I really, this whole thing, when I have these conversations with people, it's like I have a new level of anger. It's like I get past something, and then people say things like that, and
Yep.
you're like, oh, like you're gonna now hit me with that extra tax bracket, like, man, like it makes you so many, like the words that want to come out of my mouth right now about my government. Period. Those things just are unbelievable to me where we are,
It
and
is.
for those families, it's like it's just like another. I'm gonna put my foot on your neck. Let me just put
Yeah.
my foot on your neck just a little more, make it hurt a little more. Unbelievable.
Exactly. So doing this, we've had 4 food drives now. I've got the privilege to see over 200 people walk through those doors, some of them repeat people, which is absolutely fine. But you hear from week to week of the water heater went out. We've already started pulling from our savings account. We don't have much more in our savings account, but we can't quite pull from our pension because the banks aren't going as fast as they normally do because they don't know what the loan percentages are of what the federal government's asking for, what they're going to be okayed for. So the loan process is taking a lot longer. So that's where we're coming in, and we're trying to. Food banks only really give out food. So
Yeah.
now we need the household items. Okay, we've got household items kind of covered from churches and the community, but now you've got a water heater out, or you've got someone's tire blew and they've got an all-wheel drive car, so now all 4 tires have to be changed. And so we're trying to help mitigate where we can in our community, which is it's hard, but it's worth it. And when I'm asked every time that a shutdown happens, like why are you still doing this? Your dad doesn't work there anymore, or why are you doing this? You're not a kid in that household anymore. And it's simple. We're community, and I wish that somebody would have made my dad's life a little easier. My dad hid that from us really well for the most part when I was a kid, and then as soon as I had my own kid, I was like, oh man, like I don't know how my dad hid the struggles of shutdowns and having to do this and go through this every time. So as a advocate, I'm sitting here and I'm contacting Congress. I'm letting them know here's these stories that are happening. I'm inviting them down to these food drives and saying, you want to see what your actions do? This is a direct response right here. Show up, go put some potatoes in a car, go carry the dog food for them, make their life a little easier since you're not willing to open the government back up in whichever side. I mean, we are not,
Yeah.
one side, the other side. It's everyone come down and see these actual stories that are happening. And so far, we've only gotten a couple of people that are running for office. They've been there for every single food drive. They're listening, they're seeing, which I'm happy for them, but they're not the ones that are able to end this right
Yeah.
now. So
those are like your local
yeah,
politicians,
so
people.
we
I
have,
mean, that's great.
yeah,
That's great. But like you said,
they
where are
can't end
y'all?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, our local representative that's in the Lubbock area, we've invited him twice because he's on recess. He's been in district, so he's in Texas, and he was able to go to Snyder, which is about 45 minutes from us, but couldn't stop here where we actually have federal workers. So we've got USDA workers, we've got a couple of TSA workers, we've got a couple of Border Patrol officers, and then we've got the federal prison officers. So, I mean, we've got a good amount of federal workers here, and our representative can't even stop by to say hi on a Saturday.
And you said that. Man, I didn't even think, people don't think, okay, there's Border Patrol. There's, I mean, wow, those federal workers,
Yeah.
same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
unbelievable. And I say a privilege. I've had the privilege of going to Washington, D.C. a few times in the last year or so, because of a situation that happened with my daughter when she was 14. And I'm not sure if you knew that story or not, but a kid used an AI app to create fake nude photos of her when she was 14.
Oh, okay.
And now there's a federal law because of it.
Awesome.
And it's great. Federal law created. Now there's actual penalties and all that. I say that because I got to go to Washington and see. I got to walk the halls. I got to witness. And you know as well as I do, I feel like, anyway, I witnessed a game. I witnessed us being a pawn in a major game there that's not real. And these are the things that, to me, prove it. This is proof that it's not real. I don't, like you said, it's not left or right. It's both. They have the ability to figure something out, to help out, but they just don't. And I don't know if they really truly care. I don't know.
It's a hard thing to even say if they truly care because, like you said, it's a game. I got to go to DC in May and advocate on behalf of babies and children for Medicaid and Medicare.
Yeah.
And we felt the same way. And I mean, my children aren't affected with Medicaid, Medicare being cut, but we have family and friends who are. Our community is going to be affected. And even going and talking about that when I'm not the one being affected and I'm just trying to be that voice, I felt like they were trying to use me as a pawn. And so that's kind of something that I've heard some of these federal workers mention before is they feel like they're being sacrificed as a pawn. And you can't help but you say, yeah, I mean, you probably are. Like, how else can I help you? I mean, I can't end the shutdown. You can't end the shutdown, but let's make sure that we get one thing off your plate, which is food.
Well, for me, it's if you want to prove that you care, don't take your paycheck. You're taking
Or
yours.
donate it.
Take all of your money and start sending it to these people.
Yeah. So we actually had a staffer show up from one of the representatives, the one from Lubbock, Jody Arrington's representative, and he sent a staffer to take pictures, but no donation, no Jody Arrington, no nothing. And I'm sitting here like, how can I, as a mom who, I'm a stay-at-home mom, how can I sit here and find resources and make sure that I'm helping my people, but you send a staffer for a photo op? I mean, that just really didn't sit right with me. I'm not going to use someone's struggle for a photo op. That's not who I am. So when I was told that that's happened, like right before I showed up that day, I was pretty upset because you're already using us as pawns, our people as pawns. Why are we also using them as photo ops? And you can't put your money where your mouth is.
Right. Right. So all of these, so you've had food drives going on, donation processes and all that. What do you do in to help that? How do you help push that?
So, as you probably can tell, I'm pretty loud. My voice is very projected. I was blessed with that, thankfully. And I've kind of just been screaming from the rooftops,
Yeah.
honestly. I've called news stations. We've done about 5 or 6 news interviews on this.
Cool.
I realized that as I was organizing and just trying to get a list together of resources in our community, for our federal workers that are all year round kind of resources, I realized there wasn't one comprehensive list. And so I sat there for 2 weeks and created a comprehensive list of food drives, of bill assistance kind of things that our community offers. And I started passing that around with the news stations to try and get other towns to kind of find somebody like myself who would start creating those comprehensive lists. So we've done that. And thankfully, bigger towns like Midland the city took it upon themselves and they created a list for workers that said, here you go. If you need help, these are where you can kind of reach out to. And then I've taken upon myself to personally email every business, every church, every big corporation I could think of in this area, around this area, just trying to get donations, if not given, to me or to the union themselves, to go donate them, like drop them off at the Happy Day Humane Society where we're doing the food drive, so they can see in person that their donations are directly helping local families. The sad part is though is that I've heard from other towns that have federal prisons or that have TSA workers, and like the Dallas area, that their communities aren't stepping up as much, which makes it a little bit harder for me because I'm like, I can yell, but I mean, Howard County, we're in a rural area. No one's gonna hear me over here.
It's you know it's it's a sad thing because these are people that they're Americans, they're United States citizens, and it just like you said, it's like being stabbed in the back. And here I'm working for you, man. I'm working for my government, and this is the treatment I get for working for my government. How am I supposed to feel about you? Want to make people hate your government? Here you go. There's a
That's
great
exactly how you
way,
do it.
great way to
Yep.
do it. How's as far as like the food drives and donation stuff around y'all? Has it been positive? Has it helped a lot?
So thankfully we had a couple of local food banks that they tapped themselves out. I hate to say that, but they're taking a break, which is perfectly okay with us because they helped us at the very beginning when resources
Yeah.
were harder to get. And then we were able to reach out to West Texas Food Bank, and they've been able to kind of pick up where our local food banks have kind of had to take a step back. The problem we're having though is the gas cards, trying to make sure that workers have gas getting to and from cars from work. The
My
laundry
gosh.
detergent, the things you don't think of. One
Yeah.
family asked for dish soap, and I didn't even think about dish soap. I'm like, yeah, you need to wash your clothes. You need shampoo and conditioner. You need body wash. I'm not thinking about dishes.
Yeah.
You need to wash your dishes so you can
Yeah.
feed your kiddos.
Yeah.
So it's the little things that they're really struggling with right now. But our community is giving what they can, and I'm really thankful for that. I know our workers are. I know our union is absolutely over the moon that we're getting the help we are. As a personal advocate level, I would like to see just a little bit more, but not from our community, but from our elected officials, our state officials, our local officials, or our federal officials. I mean, they have the power. And when I say local, I mean our city council, though they might not have it in their budget, their city budget to do anything, they have a platform. And that's kind of where I'm glad that you've opened your platform up to me, to where I only have a platform here in Big Spring. Let me get this out. Let me use that. And so I'm a little taken aback that the people in this town that have those platforms haven't been using them to help our workers.
I, I played baseball in college and my coach is a really good man. Just one of the most influential men of my entire life. Played professional baseball. Just a good country dude. And he said at one time, we were having issues as a team, and he said, what y'all's problem is, you have what I call the major league attitude, which is hooray for me and F you. And and that is exactly what I see when it comes to government officials, politicians, when you're talking about the platforms. They have the ability. It's right there. And it's not like it takes a ton of time. You could spend 30 seconds doing a post of some kind, something. But refusal to do it. And
Exactly.
it's hooray for me, F you. That's the way it feels. And God, just infuriates, this whole thing infuriates me. And I just, every time I talk about it. So if people wanted to, from outside of Big Spring in the area, wanted to donate somehow, food, money, whatever that looks like, where would they go?
So you can contact Paula Chavez. Don't ask me for her number right now. I'll get it to you after this, where you can send that one.
I know that.
You can contact me. My number is 432-466-5277. However, if you're not from this area, I would honestly ask you to reach out to your local federal workers, because as much as we could use the help here, and we have 475 individuals affected, we are able to help them right now. And I don't know if that's the case for anyone that's local to you. And if they're going without food altogether, I would rather a couple of dollars go to them rather than trying to help us keep up with what we're already doing. That's kind of where I would send people to. And then I would also, even if you don't have the means to do monetary donations or donate things that you have around your house, contacting your local representative and just letting them know that this shutdown needs to stop, because it's not about left or right. It's about our community. And we need to keep that at the focus of just our community. And that advocacy will go a lot further than any dollar really would.
Yeah. You know, I always hope when these things happen, you know, when 9/11 happened, you know, you saw everybody, we come together, and it was not us and versus them. It was everybody from every religion, every skin color, every thing you could imagine. Like, we are going to come together and fight this. And we did. They did. Everybody did. It was but I always say this country is a real bad problem with we're forgetting. And things pass, and those things pass, and it's easy to forget, and you just move on. But in these instances, I mean, this is a major, major ordeal across the country of people suffering. And my hope is that this message gets out there and people come together finally, for just, even if it's just a minute.
Yeah, just a minute. It takes 30 seconds to share a post, for sure.
Yeah. And so I hope that is exactly what happens. That's why I'm doing it. Of course, I have a soft place in my heart for y'all, because, like I said, Paula and my family members who are out there, you know, and work doing it, and me coming from a first responder background, and understanding, you know, the sacrifices of Border Patrol, and, you know, all the federal agents, and my gosh, TSA, and you could go on and on. And you realize how massive this thing is just from talking about this one local area. Well, is there anything else that you think is important?
Yeah, absolutely. I have always got stuff else. So for what's going on right now, so the big talk was that on November 1st, staff would also be gone. And we have seen that federal judges have said that there are emergency discretionary fund, which has already been passed, which could have been already used to pay federal workers. So let's just put that out there, point blank period. There was funds that were already given from Congress to say, feed these people, make sure all these nonprofits are staying open, and it hasn't been used. But my main message that I want to get out there is, don't let this become an us versus them, because it's really easy to do when the government is the one telling us that SNAP beneficiaries are the ones that are taking from federal government employees, or that everyone's so worried about SNAP benefits and the people that are benefiting from them that the government employees are feeling like they're being forgotten, and they're starting to get a little bit angry and frustrated, which rightfully so, but at the wrong people. And we need to keep our frustration and our anger at our representatives in Congress, who are either not at the Capitol and they're just at home on recess, or they're talking about owls in the Senate.
Yeah.
They're not making those votes. We keep canceling those votes. We're not compromising where we should be compromising. And so don't let what you're hearing on the local news make it an us versus them, because everyone's suffering right now. And we need to make sure that everyone's just trying to do their part in holding our community together and keeping it as a community.
Yeah, exactly. And I say this all the time, the media has done a phenomenal job since before you and I were born, since before I came here, of spinning the narrative and making us believe that we should hate this group, and we're not like this group, and we're not like the people in that country, and we don't have the same problems, or we're not, and man, it has worked. They have done a phenomenal job at that. And it's the purpose is to make sure that we are separated, so they can make you believe like, hey, look, I care about you more than they do. I need you to vote for me so I can do exactly what I need to for you. And man, it has worked like a charm. And I tell people all the time, like, that the faster we understand and believe and realize that we are the power, like, that is a minimal, that is a very small group of people there in those political positions. Very small group. And I said this the other night. I said, and you do realize that, no offense, but that group of people over there might be the softest, most pansy, like, weakest human beings on the planet. They're old, decrepit, just, you know what I'm saying? And
I do.
Why are we afraid of them? You work for us. You are beholden to us. And if we want you gone, it's our right to make you gone. I don't, and man.
Well, it's okay though, because midterms is coming up. And I really think that in March, when the first midterms are, when the primaries are, I really think that this is going to be on everyone's mind, even if this is resolved or they just keep doing continuing resolution. I'm really hoping that this will be the sole driving factor of just getting people to the polls. I know that Howard County typically has a very low voter turnout during midterms, because a lot of us don't think that our actions at the polls really affect anything, but it does, because now you can actually get the representative from Lubbock out who hasn't shown up in 5 weeks to come to these voter food drives, and get somebody in who would actually show up for 10 minutes to say, hey, here you go. Here's $500. That's all I can get. I mean, that's all we're asking for. So hopefully we change this at the midterms and we can start just making a movement. I don't care who you vote for. Just try to get the old voices out. Let's get the people out who have proven to us time and time again that they are not there for the right reasons.
Hunger is a crazy, crazy motivator.
I hope it is. I really do.
I mean, anybody who's really, really gone without food, it's a major motivator. It will make you, do things that you don't normally do. And, gosh, man, I hate it for those people out there. I hate it for everybody going through it in the country right now. And like you said, it is absolute nonsense. There's no reason that they couldn't have figured it out long ago.
Exactly.
And just done the right thing. And man, well, I appreciate you coming on. I think this is a great start. I've got a few more going to come on. Your dad going to come on, I hope, and we can have a discussion too. 'Cause, like you said, coming from somebody's eyes who's been in it and experiencing this very thing, and it's men like him. I always say that is a true life warrior. Your dad, he went through this, and like you said, he kept you out of it as a kid. I mean, how
Yeah.
hard that is to fight that battle mentally and physically and not involve your kids in it. That is true life warrior shit. And
It
you
is.
know, and so I can't wait to talk to them. Those are the guys that I like to talk to too, because they've been in it, they've seen it, and they understand. And so I look forward to getting his version as well. I appreciate you coming on. I know you got little kids and they're in there right now, wondering where mom's at, and you had to
It's
go
all
out to
good.
your car, come out to your car just to get some space. So I appreciate you taking the time today to do it. And one last chance. Anything else that you think you want to tell? Anything what you've done is really great. Is there anything else that you want to say before we go?
Just thanks for having me. I mean, I know that we've talked about representatives and who's listening and who's not listening and who's doing stuff. You might see me in the future with a sign saying vote for me. Mostly because I've been doing it. I'm actually showing up and I'm trying to just
So what
do
is
the
it you're
right
gonna?
thing.
What is it you told me this before? What is it you're gonna?
Yeah,
You might as well throw it. You might as well throw it
yeah,
out
you're
there.
good.
You might as
So,
well throw it out there. What are you
Tuesday,
running
I will
for?
be signing papers for running for District 72 for the state of Texas. So it'll be a Texas legislation representative. I'll be going against Drew Darby. Our area is from San Angelo area all the way to Big Spring and all the tiny little counties in between. Between now and March, I'll be making a pit stop in each county. Any tiny small town has 500 people, asking them like, what resources are you needing? Because what we're hearing is Representative Darby keeps saying in the Texas legislation that he's just one voice, so he might as well give up that one voice because he's fighting, 20 or 50 urban voices in those votes. And so we've noticed a lack of resources here because the resources you need in rural Texas compared to resources you need in urban Texas are completely different.
Yeah,
So this shutdown kind of jump started that for me. I've been asked multiple times, why haven't you run? Why aren't you doing something bigger than just staying in Big Spring? And I've toyed with the idea, and now Tuesday I get to sign those papers and say, all right, let's do this. I'm already doing the hard work. Let's take that to Austin and kind of use that platform that we've been talking about where these politicians aren't using that platform. I mean, you called me and I'm like, yeah, let's do this because,
yeah,
any way I can get this voice out and this story out, we need to. I mean, it's important because people are actually hurting.
yeah. And the it's people like you. That's what this state, this country needs is more people that are actually real, that are not fake, that are not in it for, monetary gain or, it's, I
Oh
know a
yeah,
lot of
we're
people,
struggling.
I know a lot of people probably get into it for those, for thinking that they're getting into it for good reasons and then are easily swayed and I, man,
It's a
we
hard
need
one. It's a hard one. It's okay.
we need people that just won't. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going down that road
Yeah.
because it's there's a legacy you leave behind, and what do you want that to be? Is it oh, they went into this political thing with good intentions and then quickly switched when the money started coming in, and
See, and that's where we're struggling. Where I'm trying to figure out the Texas legislation meets between January and May, and I've got two small children. I'm the stay-at-home
ah,
mom, so I
ah,
have spent countless nights trying to figure out if this was right for us because I don't
ah,
want to stick my kids on the back burner just to have my name out there and people pat me on the back. Like I don't need that. I can do that here in Big Spring all day
right,
long and be at home with my kids every night and not have
right,
to worry about going back and forth. So it's a hard one. I will
yeah,
say though that I'm not selling my soul. I haven't done it in the 15 years I've been an advocate.
yeah,
I've put a lot of targets on my back locally because I've called out specific companies and specific powerful people of, hey, I've gotten $1,300 donations from these kind of people, myself included. Can you match that? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, we'll just take this to social media and let everyone know that, you don't want to match this when you have more means than what I did.
Right.
I'm asking for a $200 donation here. Like, help me match this to help our
Right.
community out. So I don't mind putting that target on my back. I'm a little conflicted with putting my kids, kind of in this
That's different.
banana.
That's different. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, someone's got to use the voice, and I don't mind doing it because I'm doing it now, and at least we're helping people.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm like, I could care less what people think. Like, it's like
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm a
Put a
little
target on my
sassy.
back.
Yep.
I don't care what you think. The kids thing would be not fun to have to deal with, but I
Yeah.
commend you for doing it. I mean, man, I watched my wife and my daughter for 2 years fight this whole process, trying to help create laws, and they were on every major news network in the country, in the UK, and Japan, and Australia, and Germany, DC back and forth, New York back and forth, and
It's hard.
my wife, she was like, well, at first it was like, man, that's great. I'm getting some stuff done. And, over time, over 2 years of going back and forth and being in Washington and seeing it, you could see it's just like
Yeah,
the beatdown of actually doing it. And then
doing
the
it.
thought
Yeah.
of doing it daily as a politician would be rough, man. I don't,
It
you
is.
know,
However, I've got the sass. If you haven't seen it just a little bit today, my husband gets on to me and he's like, "Can you please
I'm
stop?"
not worried. I'm not worried about you.
Well, I'm hoping that the sass kind of, having a little bit bigger of a platform, kind of using yours to get that sass out there, helps others realize that you can be politically petty and be still professional.
Yeah.
And I like to call that professional petty,
Yeah.
because you can still disagree with people and you can still be professional about it, but you
Yeah.
can also stand your ground and show that we're not giving up anymore.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think
that's it.
I think my cousin Paula would be perfect for some
I've
sort of
tried getting her to get
political
to do
role.
some
My
stuff.
gosh, man, those people would not know what hit them wherever she was.
Oh no, oh no. Well, thankfully, I've known her my entire life, and she's helped build the monster that's sitting in front of you today. So,
Yep.
um,
Well, she's good at
if
that.
we she is. So if we can get me across the finish line, we can thank Paula for that because she's helped build this monster.
Well, if she's good with you, I'm good with you. She's top notch people, so I'm with you. Whatever you do, I'm with you.
Well, thank
So
you, but I appreciate you for having me on here and letting me use your platform to get this
yeah,
story out
yeah.
because it's
I,
it's a big one.
yeah, I appreciate you taking the time, and I want people to see how important it is. This is not, we joke around, but this is not a joke. There are kids hungry. There's hungry kids,
Yeah,
and that irks me. It's just like in the fire department. I could deal with adults things,
yeah,
but man, when it involves kids, it's a whole different ball game. And
exactly.
and that's what this is. It's like people. I want people to see it's not just the adults. You know, so
Yeah. Well, it's
go get
not.
those kids. Go get those kids. I see you eyeballing them out there.
Yeah, they're looking through the window trying to see if I'm done yet. But thanks again. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, and I will on my platform. I will post about the Facebook page, FCI Big Spring, so people can
Awesome.
kind of see what's going on out there and help out if they need to, and we'll
Yeah,
go from there. So much
that sounds
appreciated for
great.
coming on, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Get the message out there. Pass this along. Like and subscribe. Tell everybody in the world you can think of about this whole thing, and hopefully this will end soon. So much appreciated for
Yeah.
y'all watching the Life Warrior podcast. Thanks, Shiloh, for coming on, telling her story, and taking the time away from your family on a Sunday. So go be safe. Y'all remember, tomorrow, go do Life Warrior shit. Try to make somebody else's life better. I promise you, if you do, yours will get better too. Thank y'all. Peace.